Hey guys, good morning. I want to do another video this morning. I was thinking about my dad and the stuff he taught me. Let's see, my dad was born around 1941. I was born in 66. I'm going to be 53, 54 years old. And I got some good memories of him. He died when I was 9 of brain cancer. The good stuff I remember he bought me boxing gloves. He was a tough but fair guy. I guess back in the 50s, you know, he dealt with the street life then, which was, you know, fists and hand, you know, driving your 55 Chevy around and getting in some little rumbles and stuff like that. You know, I don't think there was any guns or knives involved or anything like that, you know. And back then, he taught me how to fight fair, which I'll get to that in a second, which didn't help me. All right. My good memories of him. I remember on Sundays we'd box. We'd put a blanket on the floor in the living room, and he bought me boxing gloves, little boxing gloves. You know, like I said, I was 7 or 8, and he would get on his knees and he'd have his boxing gloves on, and we'd box and we'd watch The Wide World of Sports. And the agony of defeat, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and the guy on skis goes wiping out over the jump. You guys all remember that. My age, you guys, you know that you can't forget that Wide World of Sports opening. And he'd have a beer and he'd give me a little sip of the beer. Okay. Now he used to teach me left, right, uppercut, powerhouse. Left, right, uppercut, powerhouse. And there were some other, but those are the ones I remember. One bad piece of advice, man, he gave me: never take the first punch. I don't know how many times I probably got my nose broke at one time because it took me. You know, when you're taught something like that as a kid, your father's words, especially when he died, those words stay in my head, and it took me getting my ass handed to me a bunch of times before I figured out. You know when somebody's gonna. First of all, you know, fighting is weak. It really is. It's the weakest form. It takes a stronger, better man to be able to get through a confrontation with his self-confidence and to turn the other person around with without using his hands. It takes a lot of skill, and it takes a real man to do that. There's times though when there's no doubt. You know, if somebody hurts your family, somebody hurts my mother or my sister, and there's a certain, it's easy for me to say this, but I still lose my temper a lot, and I don't want to be a 54-year-old guy getting in trouble for this stuff. It doesn't look good. It's immature, and okay, another thing too, I'm not going to talk about kicking ass or anything like that. I thought about this, and whenever I hear anyone at all, movie stars, boxers, regular people, talk about fighting and talking about winning a fight and hurting someone, to me, it never sounds good. It never comes off good to me. I'm not going to talk about how many fights I've gotten in. Obviously, I lost my dad, and I got picked on a lot when I was a kid, and then I moved to the city area after, and I believe, I had to learn how to fight. I lost a lot. I got my ass kicked. To me, there's a lot of times that I felt I'm very proud of getting beat down. I am, because when you lose, you learn, like in the words of Steven Tyler, you got to lose to know how to win. It's true, man, and one of the worst things is to be afraid of a punch, of being punched in the face. After you've been hit in the face as much as I have, you don't. It's not that bad. It's not something you look forward to, but it's not that bad. It's really not. You can make it work for you, the adrenaline and everything. It's really not that bad. like I said, I'm not going to talk about winning any fights, you know. I don't think that sounds good. I'll talk about losing some. I've had my nose broke. I got in a fight on roller skates. And again, I was listening to my dad, and I knew there's a time when you see it in their shoulders, when somebody gets in your space, you know that person's going to swing on you. You know. It took me the longest time to get those words from my dad out of my head. At that moment, you hit them. And another piece of advice, if I'd ever give it to anybody, keep hitting them. Once that person goes down, keep fucking hitting them. Keep hitting. Don't stop. That's the biggest mistake. Two of the biggest mistakes I made is letting the other person, when you know they're going to hit you, letting them take the first punch. And the second biggest mistake is just hitting them once or twice and not taking them down and stopping. Bad. Don't do, and this is just survival. There's no, and like I said, there's nothing. Let me tell you guys something else. I have never, ever felt good about winning a fight. Never. Even if the person started it, even if the other person hit me first, I've never felt good about inflicting that kind of damage on another human being. About standing over somebody like that at the end. I have never felt good about that. Maybe I'm not cut out to be, maybe I'm just not a fighter. I'm not, I don't know if anybody is. There is people that are. But I get no joy in it. To be honest, here's the bizarre side of me. There's times when I got in a fight with two guys, and I did surprisingly well. I still got my ass handed to me, beat the fuck out of, and I almost enjoyed how much I made those two guys work for it. I remember seeing the look on their faces, and they were just like, is this guy, oh my God, is this guy ever going to go down or what? I got there's blood all over the car, blood all over my girlfriend, blood all over everything, and I'm still coming at them. And that's the stuff I kind of got a kick out of, is the endurance. I actually enjoyed losing. There's a lot of pride in losing. Now, you guys got to remember, again, I've never been in prison, and I'm not talking about that kind of nasty street. Well, I mean, I've of course, I've street fought, but I'm not talking about that, for your life shit. I'm talking, a Friday night drinking kind of fight, But as long as you stand your ground and you give it all you got, until you're unconscious, man, there's nothing to be ashamed about. Like I said, I've had more pride losing fights than ever winning. I don't know what's wrong with me, but it's the truth. And like I said, I wanted to make sure this isn't a video about glorifying fighting. It's one of the weakest things a man can do, is just to fall back on anger and violence. It really is. Like I said, the point of the video is I was thinking about my dad and the stuff he taught me and how things have changed. He really gave me this advice that not to take that first punch. And I think, as anybody my age or younger would know, that's not good advice anymore. It's really not. Imagine that, back in the 50s, that there was there was honor about not taking that first punch, and then once you get hit, clean in the dude's clock. I guess that's how it worked. I don't know, but like I said, I got my shit handed to me. There's a point when you see it in the other guy that, without a doubt, the person's going to swing on you. And at that point, you gotta get busy. You gotta get to work. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about stuff. It was a good memory of my dad. That's basically, like I said, I'm not going to talk about winning any fights or hurting anybody, because I never ever took any joy in doing that. I never felt good once. Never once felt good about hurting another person. But so that's that. So you know, you got to try to avoid violence. Violence is it really is the easy way. And anger, you know, it's so much easier to just start to troll somebody. You know, and I'm learning this. I have a hard time with this now. I get angry and I'm so tempted to go into the comments and use my words like fists, you know, the worst, you know, the worst things I could say. And I've been doing better. You know, I haven't been doing it at all. But it's hard. It's hard not being an asshole sometimes, you know? It's hard not to give in to your anger. But it takes a better man. It really does to, you know, if you can, I don't want to use the word manipulate, but if you can take a situation that's potentially violent and use your own confidence, you know, and looking the dude in the eye in a good way. I found a good way to bring a situation like that down a bit is where you find common ground between you and your adversary. It's a tough thing to do because at that point things could go off any second. But if you could find something, you know, it's not a time when you're going to start talking about cars or music or anything, but it's a lot harder to punch somebody in the face that you share a lot in common with. You know what I mean? It's one of the ways I found to diffuse a situation. And never kiss ass. You know, anybody could see that, you know, I think that's something that's built into us guys. When we see weakness, when we see somebody trying to be submissive, I don't know, you know, I have no respect. And then, to me, that's worse than getting my ass handed to me. That's worse than getting beat up, is being bitched, you know, treated like a bitch, you know. So yeah, you know, you got to stand your ground, but there's a lot of times with confidence that you can get past it. Oh, one other thing I want to talk about. All the girls I've ever dated and stuff, or my female family members, they're always amazed at how us guys can get into I've gotten into so many fist fights with my good best friends and beat the holy bejesus out of each other. Gone to the hospital. I got beaten up so bad. Kicked in the fucking head. My best friend. And then you hug each other. And women are amazed that guys do this. You know? It's all about respect. Because you air out your grievances, your anger. You beat the fuck out of each other. And then you have respect for the other. You know? And then you don't laugh. You know, as opposed to the way the women deal with it sometimes. You know, women scare me sometimes, seriously. You know, they hold in anger and they get catty. And, you know, with us, like I said, we just bam, bam, bam. And then we hug and it's over. You know, we're best friends now. You know, and there's something so beautiful about that, man. But women, you know, they get sidewinding and, you know, catty, and then the pulling hair, man, holy shit, and the scratching and kicking. Good God, I would much rather get punched in the face any day than that shit. Women scare me sometimes. You know, I don't know. You know, it's always the common feeling that guys are tough, you know, but freaking women, you know, like I said, I think I'd rather get punched in the face than get scratched up and get my hair pulled out and kicked in the balls. Oh my God, I would much rather get punched in the face. Anyway, this is, like I said, this video is not about glorifying fighting or bragging about any fighting or anything. I just want to talk about what my dad taught me and get a good laugh, you know, and that's all. You guys have a great Monday. Take care.